there's a lot of trauma to growing up queer. It's not easy. It's still not easy. It's for a lot of people, it's really, really fucking horrible and hard. At the same time, if we just tell that story endlessly, then how do we dream our way out of it? How do we dream our way into happiness? You need to be able to see a path. And I think that it's really nice to be able to provide people with like a route to like, look, these are like two young, beautiful men who love each other and want to have sex with each other. It's funny. I was a fan of the books. I did not necessarily think this would make a great adaptation because of how smutty it is, frankly. And I called my producing partner and I was like, if someone else does this, I think I'll feel crazy. Like, I think that I would get feral. And so I followed Rachel Reed on Instagram. She followed me back. We started chatting, and that was that. That's how it began. This isn't like other comedy shows. It's kind of not like anything, really. What's fun about this project is it's just so different. I would vacillate between being like, it's like normal people, but not sad. And then I'd be like, it's like Friday Night Lights, but with like so much fucking. I was like, I know, it doesn't work because it really is doing its own thing. I love comedy, obviously. That's a big part of who I am and a big part of what I've done. There's definitely more sex than we usually put in a sitcom. The storyline is they meet up 3 times a year and fuck, and then eventually they realize they can't shake each other. Like, that's their trajectory. So that sex is actually the most intimate thing they do and the most honest way that they communicate with each other. Because when they talk, it can be a lot of posturing, it can be a lot of gamesmanship, it can be a lot of avoidance. But when they're actually being intimate, they're intimate. And that's when they actually know one another. Sex is the language of this show. So the sex scenes were written very differently. They have very different goals. We're watching them change. They start off as they're rookies and they, 8 years later, we're still with them. So they can't just be having the same sex. It wouldn't make any sense. Their relationship to their own sexuality has changed. Their relationship to each other has changed. The nervousness, the hesitation, the tentativeness, getting to know somebody else's body, getting to know your own body, like getting to know what you like about sex, which is a journey that everybody goes on as well. And so we're watching a story being told through sex. We had an amazing intimacy coordinator, and she was, her name's Chayla Hunter. She's a friend of mine, and she was absolutely brilliant. And, we choreographed it. We basically turned them into dances so that hopefully the more you learn a dance, the more free you are to feel things and to not think and to kind of be impulsive. And that's exactly the same way we treated the sex, so that the actors felt free to do the things that are most important, which is deal with the connection that's happening between them. As a queer person of a certain age, like, me growing up, it was like, if the queer person was the main character in a story, they were going to die. They were going to be miserable or they were going to die. And if they were the supporting character, they were going to have no sexual life to themselves or no kind of life outside of whatever reflected existence they get from the main character, or, being the gay best friend, that kind of trope. Again, I think the most important thing is to be able to dream your way into happiness. To see somebody else doing it makes it a huge difference. And I don't know, this is a TV show. We're not under the impression we're here to change the world. We're just here to put something nice into the world. And, this is a fantasy. This is a Harlequin book. Like, what this is, these are major league hockey players. They fly on private planes. It's like, this is, in a way, it's like this is heightened nonsense. But emotionally, I wanted to make it real, because then I think you'll feel the impact of the rest of it, which is that these two people are in love, and that's beautiful, and that's fun, and it's universal. And also, for all of the smuttiness of the show, these are two people that fall in love when they're teenagers and can't shake each other. So it's actually like really sweet and romantic, and dare I say conservative. They're high school sweethearts, and that's adorable. I hope it resonates with as many people as possible. I hope we infiltrate all the spaces.